come on up and play something, you know. I wrote this one, it's just recently. I noticed that in this world today, it seems like it's asking questions is not always welcomed and sometimes discouraged more than I think in the past. I'm not sure why that is. I think it has a lot to do with just the climate and media and all sorts of things that can pose challenges. So, but I love the idea. I think it was Maria Rilke said, it's more important just to live into the question, and I like that a lot. So this is called Riddle Me This. Riddle me this. Let's start with a question. May I make a patriotic suggestion? Can our hearts take the lead in this historic time? 'Cause this land is your land and it's mine. Riddle me this. Can we choose to walk in freedom and walk in each other's shoes? Can we be unified today with all that's happening? And ask some questions worth considering, like, who we gonna trust? Could anyone be choosing prophets over us? Am I wrong, or is this thing gotten serious? And is it safe just to ask a question? Riddle me this. Riddle me this. Well, here's the thing. How it hurts to see so many people suffering. And if we comply, don't we have everything to lose? Well, you know, I think we do. Oh, say, can you see the fading flag of our American dreams? Will our founders' words be washed away? What would those who fought for freedom have to say if those who gave their lives were here today? Riddle me this. What about our kids? Will future generations know what freedom is? Let our hearts take the lead. No, it's not too much to bear. 'Cause this land is our land and it should be theirs. Will this land someday be theirs? Riddle me this. Riddle me this. This land is your land and it's my land. To the Gulf Stream waters, riddle me this. Can we ask some questions for our sons and daughters? Riddle me this. Thanks very much.
And that concludes our service for the day.
So beautiful. Take that song beyond this road.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
When did you write that? It's big. Yeah. It's really essential. Yeah. Thank you. Steve Mason. Yay. Our friend, a source of incredible inspiration for our community. So grateful you come be with us. This is me decreasing sound. Matching is better. It'll make me crazy if it doesn't make you. It's that tapping thing. Community by Starhawk. Community, somewhere. There are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere, a circle of hands will open to receive us, and eyes will light up as we enter, and voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. A vision. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. A circle of hands that open to receive us. Eyes that light up when we show up. Voices that celebrate with us when we come into our own power. People who recognize what it takes to move beyond obstacles, to change our thoughts, to be present in a new way. People who believe in certain ideas and thought streams that we ourselves have discovered and find meaning, not just in thinking, but in living. Ideas that change our lives. That's what unity is. That's what we have committed to for those of us who are, as we would call ourselves, students of truth, or students of unity, or students of practical Christianity, as the old wording used to set a framework. Unity. Unity. Practical spirituality. Practical Christianity was the original term. Now we say students of the path, students of the one. We have so many ways to describe what our beliefs lead us to, what we explore and find in ourselves and those around us. Unity, a way of being, a way of thinking. And so we welcome you to Unity Skagit Valley on this Sunday, the first Sunday in March. I said to Steve, I can't comprehend that it's already the first Sunday in March. Don't understand what's going on with time. Don't understand what's going on in so many ways right now. But when it comes to time, it is just on that speed track. And in the midst of that, we look at the days and we say, did I live today? Was I fully present in the experience of living today? Did I come to today? At the end of the day, did I notice that another full day had passed? And not what did I gain or what did I accomplish, but was I present today? What are the things that had meaning for me? What is it that showed up in my day that was unlike any other day? Can we mark the moments more than just on our calendars? Can we mark the moments on our hearts as these are the things that give meaning to my days? So as we welcome you to Unity Skagit Valley, we do so in the warm and loving spirit of unity, in recognition of our oneness, in recognition of community, and the striving to be true community. What does it mean, true community? You can have a building, you can have people who come, but true community really does have those values of how we are with one another and what matters to us, and how we live that out in the community and then in our individual lives. So we greet you, and we're grateful for your presence online here in the sanctuary. Thanks for being part of this Sunday morning with us. Louise has the daily word this morning, which she will pray with us.
It's quite a word this morning. Glory. My life celebrates the glory of God. Glory fills the world with wonder when I attune my senses to it. I hear it in the sound of the waves crashing on a beach and in the resonant harmony of a choir. I see it in the sunrises and sunsets, in the beauty of gardens, mountains, and forests, and in the eyes of parents holding their newborn child. I feel glory in the depths of my being at those moments when I understand my life as God's life living in me. There is no place where my human self ends and the divine presence in me begins. God and I are one. The glory of God is revealed to me as I release the thought that I am only human. God's glory shines through me as the divine presence, the Christ, expressing in my healthy body, my insightful mind, and my loving heart. And from Galatians 2, verse 20, and it is no longer I who live, but it is the Christ who lives in me.
Thank you. Such grace. Such grace in you. Yeah, thank you. Our flowers this morning are from Carol Yah. They are absolutely perfect and beautiful. Thank you, Carol. We're grateful. Just the beauty and the simplicity of them. They're just, I love that. So pretty, so pretty. We're updating our directory. If you have one and ever try to call somebody, you may or may not find that person. And emails, we don't know. Are they right? Are they wrong? Are the addresses correct? We don't know. Periodically, we need to do an update. So we're requesting that if you're in the sanctuary, you would pick up one of the forms and update it. Even if you've done it 100 times before, we'd love it if you do it again so that we're sure we have correct information. The other way to update information, and we'd like to invite all of you to do that if you're willing to be in the directory, is online. Info@unitysv.org, and just say, here's my directory information. We need your full name and address. We need your phone number if you're willing to give it, and we need a primary email address for you. So if you could update that information and get it to us, the directory team would love to have it. So thanks for asking for the directory to be updated, those of you who have, and thank you for responding to the request. Grateful. The prayer ministry prays with you every time we receive a request. We hold that prayer in prayer for a month and then send it on to Silent Unity. So if you want to submit a prayer request, and we've had a number of them recently, you can do it here in the sanctuary. The prayer box is on the credenza, and the prayer slips are there. Otherwise, go again to info@unitysv.org, and you can submit a prayer request that way, and we receive them very quickly. So they move through that site and come to the prayer team right away. So please, if you would like us to pray with you, we would love to do that and with you. And more than that, if you would enjoy being part of the prayer team, a couple of our members have moved on and to other places, literally. And we would love to have anyone who is willing. It doesn't require that you're a 24-hour meditator or that you've performed some sort of miraculous events in your life, like walking on water. It requires a sincere heart that can hold good for another person who is in need. Can you hold the vision of good for someone else? Highest form of prayer is to hold the light, to hold the good, to know divine order is present. And so we invite you, if you're interested in serving on the prayer team, to again submit your name. Interested in prayer team, just submit your name. We meet every few months as a group and continue our work through the internet or in a variety of other ways. So join with us if you would be interested in doing that. Thank you to our team. Sam, thank you for continuing to fill in. It really is such a gift to have you filling that seat where Jerry would normally be, and we're thinking Jerry will be back next Sunday. Ellen, thank you always for holding all all the pieces together. You really make a difference. And Steve, thank you for being here, and Chris at the front door, our welcome person, our clean up the steps person if necessary. Sam's been doing that. Ellen does that. Who else does that? Heather does that. We never know when we come to the building what's going to be happening here or what happened that we didn't witness. So there are a lot of things that go on to create our building and its presence in the community to be a light source. The board is committed to being a light source in our area of Mount Vernon, in the surrounding businesses, in our community at large. We're committed to being a light source, a shared light source and resource for the well-being, and we hold the highest image for our community and those who live homed or unhomed. We pray for them, and at the same time, we know they can't live on our front porch. Someone, when I came the other day, was sleeping on the cement steps beside the building. And I thought, oh, that's gotta be uncomfortable, but not on the front porch, which we've asked, and we have no answer to homelessness. But we certainly have experienced and been witness to a lot of the unhomed in our community. So we pray, we all pray for whatever it is that each one needs in their life in this moment. We hold the light for each one. It seems like, I think there's a board meeting on the 15th. But I think I'm going to ask Jerry if we can shift our time or that day, that week of the board meeting. So I'll get back to you on that as soon as I can be in contact with him. The other thing I want to announce is that Reverend Nina Clark will be here next Sunday morning to inspire you with her thoughts and her wisdom and her presence. So be here to enjoy the experience of Nina. I'll be in Santa Barbara doing the memorial service for my dearest friend, Joan, who made her transition in October. And so we'll be doing her memorial service next Saturday in Santa Barbara, where it's a little warmer than it is here. I think that's everything I had in my list of things to think about. Masks. Masks. We're looking at the decision that the state is making and a number of states are making about masking. And we're going to continue for the time being to ask that you be masked in the sanctuary. So whether we agree with or disagree with individually, independently, for the time being we will continue to mask and ask that that be okay with your heart. It's still time, or it seems to be time. That you have made me in the image of your own mystery. Thanks be to you, O God, that in the soul of every human being there are depths beyond naming and heights greater than knowing. Thanks be to you. Grant me the grace of inner sight this day, that I may see you as the self within all selves. Grant me the grace of love this day, that amidst the pain and disfigurement of life, I may find the treasure that is unlocked by love, that amidst the pain and disfigurement in my own life, I may know the richness that lies buried in the human soul. Today I pray for this day and for the life of the world. From Sounds of the Eternal by Philip Newell. Let's meditate. Or, in other words, let's become still. Today I draw near to the source that sustains me and supplies my every need. Today I draw near to the light that reveals each step, the light that shines on the path of my life, the path of life itself. Today I draw near to the life force that I experience as breath, heartbeat, the pulse of life flowing in and through all. The pulse of life, creative life, healing life, life eternal. Today I draw near to the infinite wisdom that is present, that wisdom of clarity, of order and harmony. Not knowledge, but the wisdom of knowing and listening. Today I draw near to this mystery we call love, the unconditional oneness and unity of all life. Love. Love, not just the I love you, but that I am love, made in the image and after the likeness of pure. Unconditional love. Today I draw near to the strength that sustains, to the power of release and letting go. The ability to forgive and accept. Today I draw near to that profound stillness, the peace, the profound peace within me, around me, and everywhere. I draw near, I bring my full heart and attention to the power within. And I am transformed. I am given exactly what I need to do whatever it is that is before me. I bless my mind with the awareness of peace. Peace to this precious mind. Feel that gentleness moving through your heart center. Let go now in trust, in faith, believing we pray for the people who we know that are challenged in this moment in time. Health challenged, mentally challenged, financially challenged. We are holding you in the light. We hold for you the high watch of knowing that Spirit is within you, guiding you, moving through you, manifesting as exactly that which needs be in this very moment in time. And to the people of the world, to the people who suffer this day in war, but who stand strong on the basis of what's right, what's true, on the basis of possibility. We see you protected and surrounded by this movement of love and clarity, order, peace, and life. We see the light that guides you. Wherever, under whatever circumstance, we say there is but one presence and one power within you, around you, everywhere present. And we breathe for you and with you the holy light. The one light with love in our hearts. And gratitude we pray. And so it is. And so it ever shall be. Amen. And amen.
So, a dozen years ago or so, on a big birthday, a friend who's a coach, she said, you know, you should write a song about your birthday. All the things you want in your life, and she said it'd be great to have a song, so you could have it like in a vision, like a vision board, that kind of thing. You know, just the right car and the right house, and she kind of went that direction with it. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I can picture a lot of those things, but as I started to write it, I realized what was most important to me, and this is called Love Is Here. Just to be here in this beauty, all your smiles, they soak right into me. Looking back at riding rails, mountain passes and old world trails, exotic lands, rising suns, to the top of the world, just to find that love is here. Love is, oh, love is here. Far off places we felt at home, and we tripped on languages, but love and beauty, they seem the only tongue. Borders crossed, touching hearts, the connection, it starts right here. Exotic lands, rising suns, to the top of the world, to find that love is here. Love is here. Love is here. Oh, oh, love is, oh, love is here. Love is here. I could have been a tragic hero, or a valiant knight who paid the highest cost. But all those years living, just reliving the past, there's so much I might have lost. and all your smiles, they soak right into me. Looking west to the sun, the reflection that is gold in this space. See the moments bring memories when hearts sing. They echo in this place. Our love is here. Love is here. Oh, love is, oh, love is here. Love is here. Our love is here.
You just had a birthday, did you? Recently?
Beginning of the year?
In January?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was just last week.
Yeah, I know. I have one coming, and I'm like, no, wait.
Love is here.
Love is here. Thanks. Thanks for doing that. Well, our house, we love our house so much. It got a new roof a few weeks ago. On a Friday, they came and worked magic and redid the roof, and it's great, and it doesn't leak, and we're really happy about that. That's fabulous, right? So next item on the docket was repiping, replacing all the piping, water pipe stuff, and they postponed it from last week to this week, and so they started on it yesterday morning. And he said, we're going to be able to get this done in one day, probably 8 to 5, 9 to 5. Okay, great, wonderful. 8 o'clock last night, they're still trying to figure out what happened when they turned the water on, and it started running out of all the pipes under the sinks, not, and under the house. So he came in and said, you're not going to have any water. I'll be back tomorrow as soon as I can, but you're not going to have any water. And Kay and I are like, well, okay. And you can't use that bathroom at all, not the commode, not anything, at one end of the house. Okay, no water, no. Okay, I'll be back in the morning, 8:30-ish. It'll take me a little while. I'll go under, I'll find the problem. So at 8:15, there he was with his brother and under the house, and it's time to get ready for church, because every Sunday, and they had been there until late, and then we didn't have water, and the stories go on. And so working last night to kind of get myself in a pre-sermon mode so I could get up this morning, and was like, not happening, can't get to it. And by the time I could, I was too tired. So I laid down in bed, and this story came, and I thought, interesting how things don't connect up at all, seemingly. But then I had this incredible insight, and once again, it's about perception. Is it bad or is it good not to have water? Is it perceptually what's the inner dynamic that affects the whole experience? What's the inner dynamic of this? What is a perception? How does it filter that experience? The known is disrupted. The way in which we live in our house is disrupted. The ways in which we prefer to do things is disrupted. The time span, the extra cost, the this, the that, the something. Perception affects the whole experience. And when you can back off of the prejudgment or the pre-thought or the way things need to be because that's the way you know them to be, and go into that surrender place again, it's amazing how easy it is to meet the moment and be present. We went to the store, we got jugs of water, it's like we could have a bucket, but you couldn't fill it. What are you going to do? So we got big bottles of water and filled the bathroom with them in the kitchen. And I woke up this morning and I thought, there are so many blessings in our days that we see as problems, challenges. Our perception makes a big deal out of everything. And so this morning, not the norm. I've got a guy standing in my nightcap, like brushing my teeth, and there's a guy, the plumber, standing next to me watching the water flow. And I'm thinking, this is just atypical. Nightgown, flannel, pink. I'm good, I'm covered, But I seldom ever brush my teeth with anybody but Coco the cat. She's always there helping. And, I've just been pouring water over my head to make what hair I have lay down instead of stand straight up. And I think to myself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Not like I've pulled the plug on what matters in life or what I value, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, hey, bud, how's it going? My little sonic hair here. I'm like, we're watching water spit out of the faucet, and I think, that's just the way it is. Not because I have some enlightened way of being. I just don't have the energy to fight with everything anymore. Saying it doesn't matter isn't a way of abdicating feeling or responsibility, but in fact, it really doesn't matter. And by the time he left, we had water running, and he'll be back tomorrow, and he'll be back on Tuesday, and it'll be fine. And I think struggling with things takes so much of our juice and our reserves. And there are things we struggle with because we do. And then there are so many things we can look at and go, world's still turning, thank you. I'm still here, good. Everything is going to be okay in the end. And what is it that goes with that? Apparently it's not the end yet. I love that. So the story that I was reminded of is actually a story about perception. And I haven't told this story here since 2013. But it's a story I think everybody knows, called The Rabbi's Gift. Remember that story? You will. The story concerns a monastery that had fallen upon hard times. Once a great order, as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution in the 17th and 18th centuries, and the rise of secularism in the 19th, All its branch houses were lost, and it had become decimated to the extent that there were only 5 monks left in the decaying mother house. The abbot and 4 others, all over 70 in age. Clearly, it was not a thriving order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a little hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used for a hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the monks had become a bit psychic, and so they could always sense when the rabbi was in his hermitage. The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods again, they would whisper to each other. As he agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the hermitage and ask the rabbi if by some possible chance he could offer any advice that might save the monastery. The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his hut, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he exclaimed. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It's the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." And so the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. And then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced each other. "It's been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said, "but I have still failed in my purpose for coming. Isn't there anything you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "No, I'm sorry," said the rabbi. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you, now you know the story, is the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "What did the rabbi say?" He couldn't help, the abbot answered. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us." I don't know what he meant. In the days and the weeks and the months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us. Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here at the monastery? And if that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he must have meant Father Abbot. He's been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, it might have been Brother Thomas. Certainly, Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. And certainly he could not have meant Brother Eldred. Eldred gets crotchety at times, but come to think of it, even though he's a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Eldred is virtually always right, often very right. Maybe the rabbi meant Brother Eldred, but surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, almost mysteriously, he has this gift for somehow always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. Maybe it's Philip. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. And yet, what if he did? Suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that much, could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect, on the off chance that one among them might be the Messiah, and on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was situated was beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its lawn, to wander along some of its paths, and even now and then go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed the aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently to picnic, to play, to pray. They began to bring their friends to show them this special place, and their friends brought their friends. And then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. And after a while, one asked if he could join them, and then another and another. And so within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order. And thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm. From one of the books that I've been working with the last few weeks, this paragraph stood out. The new depends on new seeing. So our first task in opening is to overcome the closedness in our perception, the fixed and finished quality of the world that we imagine around us. For us to surprise the world, in other words, the world has to surprise us. So the Messiah is one of you, became a creative seed. Became a creative seed that shifted the perceptual foundation of what had become the order of things, the way of things, the way of being. The this is how it isness of that order was its own death call. You can't expect new to be born in the same old way of seeing, thinking, and being. And if something isn't surprising us into wakefulness, or frequently shocking us into not taking water coming out of the faucet for granted. I watched Kay this morning reach over and turn the faucet in the kitchen on. I said, "How's that going?" She said, I just realized how much I take it for granted. Of course, it's there. But that's a small thing in accord with the larger experience of life in the world. Not having water, I really saw that as a way I could support people who have no water today. It consciously brought it to mind. I had water. We had bottles of water. I wasn't dying of dehydration. I wasn't somewhere where I had to carry it 3 miles to have water. But in the experience of living, how quickly I withhold myself from the experience of life because it doesn't match somehow with my way of perceiving life. Jesus has an encounter one day with a woman at a well. She's a foreigner. The disciples have gone to find food or do something. And there he is, and he asks the woman, as you remember, if you've read and heard this story, may I have a glass of water? Could you get me a cup of water? And she said, who are you to ask me for water? It wasn't the way it sounds. Who are you to ask me for water? I'm an outcast in my community. Why would you ask me for water? Story continues. She's a woman who's had 5 husbands. She's a woman who can't go to the well when the other women are there because she's an outcast. They reject her. She doesn't belong there. Jesus gets the story. He pushes a little. She tells the story. What it's like to be an outcast. And there you are, a foreigner asking me, a foreigner, and a man asking a woman for water. And why would you ask me? And then he does that thing he did. I can't explain it except you know it when it happens to you. He saw her. And she saw him seeing her as more than her story, more than her history, more than her experience. And in that seeing of her, suddenly she saw him. Who do you say I am? He asks. And somehow in that moment, somehow in that beyond time and space and history and tradition and everything else that goes with it, they met in that holiest sanctuary of all, inner being to inner being, divine self to divine self. Maybe you're the Christ, she said, venturing a guess. And he basically says to her, you're the worthiest person I've met in a way long time. Beyond societal norms, beyond all things, beyond the way people see one another. You have witnessed and seen what is true. We don't hear more about her later in the story, but in that moment what you know is she was never again relegated to being alone drawing water at the well. Even if that was the case, she was not relegated to a lower level in her own being. She had been recognized as more. You have the sense that it was a contagious kind of experience. The disciples come back from wherever they've been and they say to him, you must be hungry. And he said, I have food to eat you know not of. You remember that? I mean, that whole section of the Bible is like, so beautiful. I have food to eat you know not of. He said, if you could see what I see, you'd see that the fields are already ripe with harvest. And people don't know, they can't see it, and they can't hear it, and they don't recognize it to be true. The fields, he's not talking about literally agricultural fields. As we all know, we've come to the understanding now in ourselves that what it means when he speaks that way is the state of true being, the state of true life, the state of the reality of all things is already is already ripe with possibility. It's already ready for the harvest. It's already present in us. It's not dependent on where you came from or what your story is or what the history has been and what your prior perceptions might have been about anything. And go ahead and look and see, what are my dominant perceptions these days? If I look at my perceptions in relationship to this whole Ukrainian thing, they just shine. I am a field of one perception after another about all kinds of things, and I've really made a commitment to explore my perceptions, because I know the way I see things is my way of seeing things, but it's not. I mean, I think you think like I think. And I think it means to you what I think it means to you because that's what it means to me. But I know, and I'm coming to see more and more that what I think is based on a perception that when I talk to someone else isn't the way they see the world. So then what am I going to do? Make you see what I see? Well, I try every Sunday. It doesn't work. You still see what you see. Why would they put somebody up here like this? It's like, are you kidding? I'm just one field of spiritual perception after another. Is it clear? I don't know. It's not yours. You've got your own. Words come out of here. They fall there somewhere. You hear. And that's what he's saying to the disciples. Seeing you don't see, and hearing you don't hear. Not as an accusation, not as a statement of conditional understanding, but as a reality. What are my perceptions? Do I really explore and examine them when I'm in those states of mind that deny that the Messiah is one of us? That the Christ is the reality of all being and all life itself. What is it that closes us down? But what is it that it opens us up? Where do we look for being opened or an opening to be filled with a new awareness, something we haven't seen before, if we can lay aside the framework of perception that we're holding about anything? I mean, it's the biggest work we can ever do to explore our perceptions. And how do you find them? Well, look for judgment, resentment, anger, problemizing, dramatizing. How many ways can we find our perception? Well, we can also find it in what surprises us, where there's joy. We can see, but until we can witness our own perceptual framework, we just continue to construct the same ideations over and over and over and over again. Why? Because that's what human beings do. And spiritually seeking can open the door in us that is an opening, if you will, into a place that can watching you show up in the ways that carry you where you don't really want to go. Nobody benefits when we suffer for their benefit. Nobody benefits when we suffer for their benefit. Everyone benefits when we can see the higher truth of anyone under any circumstance. I remember when I used to spend a lot of time in a counselor's office, but I didn't tell the truth because I didn't want him to think that I was weak or not well. It was like, I'll show you that I'm fine. Anybody do that? I'll write the check at the end of our time and I'll just walk out going, yeah, I'm doing great. And walk headlong into a wall of what I just walked away from. Because I thought that he thought that I was broken. Because I thought I was broken. And if you didn't join me in thinking I was broken, then maybe I wasn't broken, except I still was. The Messiah is all of you. Nobody benefits when we deny the reality of what wants to be born. And that's the creative process at work, is in the seeing of that something more. We companion that something more being present. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us, and eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done, and arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, some place we can be free, where we are known as who we truly are. May this be such a place. May that be the vision we hold for the work we do in the world and for the existence of this ministry. My love to each of you as you share your tithes and love offerings this morning. The beautiful bowl is waiting just by the doors to receive your gifts. Thank you for your generosity and your love. Thank you for being that through which Source moves as that free-flowing channel to bless the ministry and bless you in return. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Have a wonderful week, friends. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, we're less than 2 weeks away from St. Paddy's Day, so I can play a St. Paddy's Day song, right? So, a rabbi's gift, then there was St. Patrick's gift, and this was a St. Patty's Day gift. So, saw my dad off as he made his transition, and I never liked that word until I saw my dad pass away, and then it made sense because I got what felt like the gift for me was I felt like I got a glimpse of the other side of the veil. So, walking up the street, looking down at the nursing home where he had been, this is 23 years ago on St. Patty's Day, I saw him dancing on the roof. He was dancing. He was this light being, probably in his early 20s, dancing with friends that they were so glad to see each other. It was just unfathomable. All in a few seconds, I had this vision of this. And they danced. And they just hadn't seen each other for I don't know how many lifetimes. So this is St. Patty's Day. A spirit danced o'er the rooftops. He danced with his friends, dancing like time itself never would end. Then he beckoned his body well out of the way. He'll dance o'er the rooftops ere and a day. A slave was freed, St. Patty's Day. Stepped from chains without a wave. He danced with friends, then sailed away to a brighter place with no night or day. He earned his wings well before St. Patty's Day. And one man's beating is all others' pain, but pain can ne'er one man make, nor steal the soul it tries to take. Let's tip one well, St. Patty's Day, to friends and kin long gone away, and let us not be ones enslaved by petty deeds or lesser ways. A slave was freed, St. Patty's Day. Stepped from chains without a wave. He danced with friends, then sailed away to a brighter place with no night or day. So sing out loud in a soulful way. A slave was freed on St. Patty's Day. So let's dance on the rooftops, let's dance with our friends, dancing like time itself never will end. Then we'll beckon our bodies well out of the way. We'll dance o'er the rooftops ere and a day. So let's dance on the rooftops, dance with our friends, dancing like time itself never will end. Then we'll beckon our bodies well out of the way. We'll dance o'er the rooftops and a day. Bless you. Happy St. Patty's Day.